Going live, going live, going live, going. We're live. Hey guys, you're watching Tech Radar. I'm Basil, and earlier today I got my hands on the Honor 9 Lite, newly announced for the UK at £199. We've already seen this phone in India. In fact, if you head over to techradar.com, I will fire a link into the live chat. You can see our review of the Indian variant of the phone. Now, that's taking into account things like pricing in Indian currency, so rupees, but in the UK at £199, it's very, very well positioned, and it may well score differently to the 3.5 stars that our Indian team gave it. So just to recap what this device is, it's a 5.65 inch screen panel, 18 by 9, teeny tiny bezels. Down at the base you've got a micro USB, you've got a headphone jack as well. It's relatively thin, under 8mm, and you've also got dual cameras, not just around the back but at the front as well. That's 4 cameras on a single smartphone, and not just any smartphone, the cheapest smartphone in Honor's current series of devices, not taking into account the 6 or the C series. So you're getting a lot of bang for your buck there, but what do you guys think? This is a live chat, so please fire through anything that you think in the live chat window. I'm gonna shout out Gavi for saying I love you too, man. YT Tech Gadget, hi. Shout out to Bishwanath Pandi, Muli Khalifa, Gavi again. You guys just filling everything up. Apple HomePod, Apple HomePod, Apple HomePod. Yeah, okay, we'll get to HomePod. In fact, Thursday we'll probably do a HomePod special, but today is all about Honor, everything Honor, from the 7X that we've reviewed, the V10 that we've reviewed, the Honor 9 that's getting on a little bit long in the tooth, and the brand spanking new Honor 9 Lite. So we've also got shout outs for X Boond, and Anas Al Ibrahim says hello Tech Radar. Okay, so I got my hands on this phone today. The front cameras are a mixture of a 13 megapixel camera and a 2 megapixel camera. That second camera, the 2 megapixel one, gains perspective information and can blur out the background and keep the foreground nice and sharp. Or if you want your face to be blurry and the background to be sharp, you can retrospectively focus after the beat. And that's something very cool with Honor devices, and I've not seen that with a front camera before. Seen dual front cameras before. The Sony Xperia XA2 Ultra has a dual front camera, but that does a wide angle move that LG does with the V30 and the likes. So I was pretty impressed with this phone, especially at the price point. You've got a wide full HD screen, so it's nice and wide, like 18 by 9 aspect ratio. It'd be really, really good for movies and all that. And because it's 5.65 inches, it's a little bit smaller than the V10 and the Honor 7X, perfect for anyone with smaller hands. And it suggests that the 3000 milliamp battery won't be put under too much pressure. What processor's inside? It's a Kirin 659, and you've got 3 gigabytes of RAM as well. In addition to that, you've got Android 8, which is sweet. A lot of flagships right now don't have Android 8. Samsung, I'm looking at you. But I did get an update on my Samsung Galaxy Note 8 saying that Android Pay has been updated, or Samsung Pay has been updated to support Android 8. So that is indication that hopefully we'll be getting updates to the latest version on Samsung flagships soon enough. But back to Honor, let's see what you guys are thinking. Hello Pele, nice to see you in here. And we got some regulars. If I trade in my LG V20 with the Honor 9, what will I miss? So the V20 for the Honor 9, you will miss image stabilization, my friend. You've got a load of manual controls across both. The camera on the Honor 9 is very, very good, but the main thing, especially pertaining to video, is image stabilization, which is what the V20 excelled in. As for everything else, they're both incredibly capable devices. Do you think Honor is doing better than Huawei itself? Do you recommend any Honor phone to anyone? I think Honor and Huawei is a really interesting one because they do recycle a lot of devices and rebadge them. So you've got, for example, the Honor 7X, which is very similar looking to the Huawei P Smart, which has just come out in the UK. So all of these phones end up looking and feeling similar, confusing the two brands. But Huawei is also very smart because they make sure that they're not available on the same retail channels. So if I think what I'm trying to say is Huawei and Honor are their own biggest competition. Like the Honor 7X costs really similar amounts of money to the Honor 9 Lite. And the Honor 9 as well is only £299. So they're kind of flooding the market between these two sub-brands, so that when someone walks into a phone store and all they see are phones priced between £199 and £399 or £450, which is where the View 10 is, and then going up to the Mate 10 Pro, Honor and Huawei devices just cascade them all. And because they do have the superficial sub-brands of being two different brands, yeah, I think it's pretty smart what they're doing. And would I recommend any Honor device to anyone? I've actually had really good experiences with pretty much every Honor phone that I've tried. They offer good value for money. What I will say, Honor phones don't offer the water resistance. Honor phones don't offer image stabilization. So if you're very into your video, that's where Honor phones may drop the ball a little bit. But if you don't need like super steady video, then you will be okay. What else are you guys saying? Michael Deluda says, hi Tech Radar, I'm watching from the Philippines. The wonders of modern technology. From London to the Philippines, I wave to you. How's 32GB version of this phone? Is that enough? So for me personally, actually 32GB wouldn't be enough. And I was going to come on to this. That's actually the thing that's differentiating your power user from your run-of-the-mill day-to-day user who's happy with an SD card. I install a lot of applications on the internal storage, and so I'd probably opt for the 7X over it as a result. The 7X also does feel a little bit more solid. I made a video around the phone that we'll post in the next couple of hours, which is a more hands-on close-up look and feel of the phone, and I mentioned that it feels and looks premium, but actually in hand, despite having a glass back and a very shiny, reflective, good looking glass back, it doesn't feel as cool, as stark, as rich as the 7X. So between that and the additional size the 7X has and the 64GB of storage the 7X has, the 7X would edge ahead for me. Just wish the 7X had the dual front camera, because I tested it out and it worked very well, and it's a really nice feature. I use bokeh mode all the time, and what better time to use bokeh mode than when taking a selfie. How much is it? Joel Demogby asks. It's £199 sterling. The UK price was announced today. To put it into context, that's cheaper than most of your Motorola G series devices. It's a really solid price. You've got over 400 pixels per inch from that screen as well. No fast charging. It is a micro USB connector at the bottom as well, so it's a bit of a shame in that respect, but for that price I'd be hard pressed to complain too much. What about battery life? 3000 milliamps according to our review and the guys in India who tested out the battery. It can last a full day. Nothing mind-blowing, but with only a 5.65 inch screen, it's good enough. Hi Tech Radar, I'm watching from Iraq. Izayek, that's how are you in Arabic. Joel also, oh no, Anas says, what's up with that blue color? Yeah, so this is actually a bugbear for a lot of Honor and Huawei fans. You have like different shades of blue in all of their Halo products, and I think a lot of that comes down to materials that they use. They can't quite get the exact same blue across all materials, and Huawei and Honor specifically said it's they evolve the blue so that it's perfect for each new device. How much of that is true, I don't know. But I will say that the phone looks good. It actually looks more similar color-wise to the Honor 8, and in fact it looks more similar to the Honor 8 than the Honor 9. I really like the look of the Honor 9, the curved back and everything. But of course with a £199 phone, you're not going to get things like a curved back, and that level of attention to detail. TechSpotter says, I think the rear camera is not good. So the rear camera is never going to be mind-blowing, but 13 megapixels with a 2 megapixel secondary camera is a combo we've seen before from Honor, and it's performed relatively well. It's not going to be a low light champion, but what is nice about Honor devices is that they do have those low light modes, the night shot modes, the ones that allow you to increase your shutter speed. The lack of image stabilization will mean you'll need to get the phone on a tripod or on a surface to get the most out of it, but yeah, even if out of the box, it's not necessarily perfect. You can probably, if you're prepared to tinker, get some really, really beautiful shots. Moinul Hassan says, what are your thoughts on Emotion User Interface, Emotion UI? Luckily, this has Emotion UI 8, which is the newest version, and it's the most refined, most stable version as well. And my thoughts are actually quite positive, unlike a lot of the tech community. Key reason being, with the Mate series devices, you've got Emotion UI Desktop, which is really handy. With non-Mate devices, or with all Emotion UI devices, you've got a really easy way of organizing your home screens. You can have applications tray on, applications tray off, etc. It is quite heavy, it is quite clunky. There are a lot of things about it that I just end up not using and therefore turning off, like the knuckle gestures. But if you don't mind that there is stuff under the hood that you don't tap into, and like it has a lot of things that I do use, like a preloaded screen recording feature, which, you know, no other manufacturer that I can think of off the top of my head puts onto their phones. There may be some, but Huawei makes it really easy by putting screen recording into your pull down quick toggles menu. How is the bokeh effect in both dual cameras compared to other smartphones of the price point? It's really good. Like, I tested it out and it was really, really similar to the bokeh effect on the 7X, for example. So that was with the front camera and the rear camera, and it's done in exactly the same way. All you do, you take your picture and then it captures that perspective information. You go into the picture in your gallery, tap on the aperture icon in the top right hand corner, and then you can tap a different part of the screen and it will refocus. You've got the slider on the right hand side and you can change your perceived aperture, which is a software based blur effect of the foreground and background objects, thereby emulating retrospective focus after you take your shot, and it works well. So I was in a low light environment indoors and it did the trick. I thought it might have some trouble and it didn't. So just given the little time that I've had with it, I was impressed, but it will be down to review conditions to get a real idea as to exactly how it will work. And Kirin659, how good is it for gamers compared to a 625? That's a really good question, and I actually don't know the GPU used in the Kirin 625 and 659, so I am searching that now. 659 GPU. If it uses the same GPU across both, then it will likely be very, very similar for gaming. It'll come down to the GPU and the RAM. So let me just search one more thing. I might not be able to get this on the fly. I need to search for Honor 9 Lite specs. Honor 9 Lite specs. So the Kirin GPU is a Mali T80 MP2 in the Honor 9 Lite, and in the Kirin 625. Kirin 625, it is a let's have a look at this. Sorry guys, I'll be two shakes. Kirin GPU. So that it's a Mali T830 GPU. So yeah, it's the same GPU across both. So the 625 and the 659 actually should perform very, very similarly. If your processor, if you're like benchmarking power with regards to Geekbench is similar, then yeah, but it'll be about RAM and general performance in that case. 625 devices I found only really slow down with heavy multitasking, and with gaming you're just going to get worse rendering. I didn't notice too many frames dropped, so that bodes well for it. But as with anything, it all comes down also to software optimizations. Now Honor does say that Android 8 is going to be a more efficient version of Android than 7 on their newer devices. So even though they have the same processor, we can hope for improvements in terms of performance, and that will hopefully extend to gaming performance. So that question was from Barun Bakchi. Hopefully that answered it for you. It is going to come down to that GPU. Money Singh, just turn your phone or PC volume up. It's a great feature if you don't use it. So I don't know what that's pertaining to. If the microphone is weak, please let us know in the comments. Harsh Vadran, is Pro mode on the camera good? I have a feeling it might be as good as high price cameras. Yeah, that is exactly what I'm saying. Pro mode on the Honor series devices, Huawei series devices is great. You can change everything except for the aperture. And what's also nice is if you are into pro modes or manual modes, you can have a shutter speed of up to 32 seconds on higher end Huawei phones. And I think it's probably nearer 8 seconds on lower end Honor phones. But even an 8-second shutter speed will get you some beautiful silky light trails. And if it's low light, you can get some stunning kind of water trail ethereal looks. So a lot of what you'd expect from a DSLR you can actually get with your smartphone these days. Just make sure that you have a tripod. So yes, problem. How is Honor 9 Lite's rear camera compared to MIA1? We don't know, because the Mi A1 is not available in the UK. I haven't used it myself, but like I said, what I will say is the Honor rear camera is going to have benefited from having those additional shooting modes that other devices don't have. So that's the majority of your questions answered for now. I'll jump back into them in a second, but I guess what I wanted to do is run through the entirety of Honor's kind of device ecosystem. So each one is kind of placed in each one, like, you know which one is right for you, I suppose. So you've got the Honor 9 Lite at £199, and that's going to be the entry level. I don't think any networks here in the UK have picked it up, so you'll be picking that up offline. This is a perfect alternative if you've got an Android phone and you're not quite ready to upgrade to a flagship and you want something to tide you over with flagship features. But like I said earlier, that 32 gigabytes of storage will be the thing that will limit you if you need to install loads of games onto your device. If you do, then you're going to want to bump up your pricing a little bit. So the 7X is available officially for £269, but you can pick it up in places like Argos for £240 at the moment, which is an excellent price. Now that additional storage, it doubles the storage. You've got 64 gigabytes of onboard storage, is great because it means all the games you'll want will fit on here, and you can also get an SD card on here for movies, etc. It also has a slightly bigger screen, 6 inches versus 5.65 inches or thereabouts. So the additional screen size will be better for movie consumption and indeed gaming as well. All of these phones have no optical image stabilization, but what you do sacrifice with the 7X is that dual front camera, which is a really nice touch. So if you just care about selfies, then maybe go for that one instead. Then you bump up the price to £299, and that gets you the Honor 9. £299 isn't a huge amount more than the 7X. What are you getting though for it? You're getting a more premium looking phone, but you're getting a smaller phone. You have no 18:9 aspect ratio on here. You have a better camera, admittedly. You have a really good camera, but no optical image stabilization still. I think the Honor 9 is the most perfect option for someone looking for a sub £300 small, easy to hold phone in your hand. But if you're looking for something a bit bigger than you just want movie consumption and you want that screen, that 18:9 screen, then I might actually opt for the Honor 7X over the Honor 9, in spite of the fact it's much less powerful and has worse optics around the back, the worst cameras. And then at the premium end, you've got the View 10, which is the ultimate from Honor. It's got that Kirin 970 processor. The camera is good, very good, not perfect, has got a tendency to overexpose images a little bit, but with that USB-C fast charging, it's a very solid device. And what's even better is it has 128 gigabytes of storage on board and micro SD expandability, making it the best storage device around. With a battery that lasts all day, check out my review if you haven't. I love the phone, and indeed it's why it is the easiest of all the Honor range to recommend. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Hey dude, keep up the good work. Thank you, Ayush, really appreciate that. We also have, is it better than the Honor 9? No, the Honor 9 is a better phone, in spite of the fact that Honor 9 doesn't have that 18:9 display or those dual front cameras. We have Golam saying, hello sir. Barun, thank you for the answer. You're welcome. When are the new Sony Xperia XZ phones coming out? Hopefully with a new design I can finally get my hands on one. We're expecting all the new Sony phones along with a whole load of other phones at Mobile World Congress. Myself and the guys here will be flying out 24th of February. Around that time we'll be heading to Barcelona, reporting from the 25th 26th when all the major announcements around the Samsung Galaxy S9, Sony Xperia XZ series, right through to some announcements from Huawei as well. I think we've pretty much seen what we're going to see from Honor though, for now at least. We probably go to the Huawei launch, well we will be going to the Huawei launch event in Paris where we expect to see their new flagship, but in MWC we may be seeing a new tablet or something along those lines. Last question I'm going to take because we've been live for 20 minutes now and it's all gone smoothly so far. Money Singh asks, should I go for the Honor 7X or the Honor 9 Lite? So I briefly ran through the pros and cons of each, but I think it's going to come down to what you want, Money Singh. If you want a really great selfie experience and you want that 18:9 aspect ratio to be that bit more hand holdable, the Honor 9 Lite is a very good value for money option. It's a bit smaller as well. It might not be perfect for you if you like having a lot of files, so the additional storage on the Honor 7X, the additional screen size may make it better if you are a multimedia fiend. Either way, both seem to be very good phones. You can see our full review for some camera samples at techradar.com. Like I said earlier, that is the Indian variant, so it's against the Indian pricing that it was rated. So it will be really interesting to review it here in the UK against UK pricing, because off the top of my head, £199 for a phone of this caliber seems really great. Hopefully you have enjoyed this roundup of Honor devices and a celebration of sorts of the Honor 9 Lite launching in the UK. My video with my hands on of the phone will be up later today, so stay tuned for that. But until then, have a wonderful day. We'll be back Thursday to discuss the HomePod in great detail, so ready your questions, subscribe to the channel, head over to techradar.com, and thank you for watching. Bye guys.